Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 2023 NADA Chairman, Geoff Pohanka. Geoff, this is an incredible time in our industry. You and I both know there are significant challenges ahead. We need an exceptional leader, and I know you're the right man for the job. Have a wonderful year, Geoff. Alicia and I are so excited for you and Ann. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mike, and thanks for your year of incredible leadership. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Geoff. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Well, it's great to be here in Dallas, and thanks so much for coming. My family's automotive story started over 100 years ago when my grandfather, Frank Pohanka, ran away from home in 8th grade. He was a late grower. He wanted to become a jockey, and he was successful doing that. He raced horses all over the United States and Canada, and this is something he was very good at. But eventually, he couldn't keep weight. He outgrew the job. He needed to find something else to do with the rest of his life. He was good with his hands, so he decided to become an auto mechanic. He went back to New York City, the New York City Public Library, and read every book they had on cars. He worked in different garages to learn different technologies. He was hired by General Motors, who moved him to Washington, D.C. as a service manager of a factory-owned dealership and became a Chevrolet dealer in 1919. In 1923, he bought an acre of land on 20th Street in Washington, 8 blocks from the White House. He converted a movie theater into a 3-car showroom and a Civil War-era livery stable into a service department. And I do remember that service department as a youth. The beams were really that big around. My father, John Pohanka, started working for my grandfather, Summers, at the age of 13, like I did with my father and my 3 children did with me. As my father became more involved with the dealership, competition became very stiff. Incredibly, the factory opened a dealership just 3 blocks away from the dealership, selling the same brand of car. But fortunately, my father discovered NADA. It was located just down the street from the dealership. He took classes. He joined the 3rd Twinny Group in the United States. NDA made a huge difference in helping him to compete. My father wanted to give back. He became an NDA director and president of NDA in 1976, 45 years ago. And now, here I am, your 2023 chairman, and the first 3rd-generation dealer to do so. And we're fortunate to have 4th and 5th-generation Pohankas working in our dealerships. That's the history I come from. So now let's talk about our future. We are part of a fantastic organization at NADA. NADA has the best staff. They take their jobs very seriously. We have the best federal advocacy. We have the best federal advocacy in the country. NADA is working more closely than ever with state and metro dealer associations. We're moving forward in our messaging and legislative activities. Now let's talk about the direction our industry is headed. A lot of people have a lot to say about our business. Some want to take our business. But no one knows this business better than we do, the ones inside the automobile franchise system. Dealers and their OEMs essentially want the same things: to give a customer a great buying experience and to sell lots of cars and trucks. But we don't always agree on how to do that. Listen, I don't know how to build a car. I could ask my OEM, why don't you just go out and get more microchips? And my OEM would tell me, well, Geoff, it's a lot more difficult to build a car than you think. We've had COVID shutdowns, supply chain interruptions, and just-in-time inventory is no longer working. There are thousands of parts in a car. If we're short just one, we can't build it. Well, that works both ways. OEMs often don't understand how complex it is to sell a car. And there are OEMs telling dealers, all you need to do to sell more cars is create an omni-channel with a buy now, order now button, and watch your sales just take off. And dealers would say, well, OEM, it's a lot more difficult to sell a car than you think. There are trade-ins, financing, lack of equity, and many customers change their vehicle preference once they visit the dealership. This is an important bridge that NADA has been building with OEMs. There are hundreds of steps that we take before handing the keys over to a customer. Sometimes we even have to remind our OEMs that dealers are their competitive advantage. It's good for dealers and manufacturers there are buzzes in our industry. Electric vehicles, autonomous cars, and new power sources such as hydrogen. These cars are new. They're exciting. They give people a reason to go out and buy a new car. And yes, dealers are all in on EVs. Dealers' opposition to the direct sellers is not about EVs. Dealers have sold millions of battery electric hybrid cars. Our opposition is that we know the franchise system is the best way to sell cars and to take care of customers. Listen, if there's a demand for something, we're going to sell it. If there's a market for it, we want to be part of that market. I'm on my third electric car myself. My advice to you, get one and drive it. Not as a demo, not overnight, drive it thousands of miles. Experience the public charging network. Understand electric vehicles from the inside. See what the customer sees. But here's the real issue. The average price of an EV has increased, get this, $14,000 in the past year. Affordability is an issue for consumers. And the EV revolution isn't only fueled by consumer demand. It's also driven by federal and state fuel economy and emissions mandates. These new regulations are significant, and they're also very difficult for the OEMs to meet. These regulations could financially exhaust some manufacturers. The rising cost of commodities required to manufacture batteries is making EVs less affordable. If consumers are priced out of the market, their only option is to buy a used car or keep the old one. And that's not good for the economy, the environment, or for public safety. J.D. Power told me that only 1 out of 2 consumers will qualify to own an electric car due to cost and lack of charging infrastructure. If this is true, what does it mean for OEMs who produce mass-marketed vehicles and who've announced their intention to transition to an all-electric future? It's clear the retail auto industry has been undergoing change. We're seeing consolidators, public companies, and now manufacturers who are direct sellers, whom some of the legacy manufacturers want to emulate. Who could blame them? Virtually unlimited money from Wall Street, incredibly high valuations, and profitability seemingly unimportant. But Charles Lindbergh was the first to fly across the Atlantic solo. Who was second? Not all these new entrants will make it to orbit. And why should a direct seller be allowed to have a sales facility in a mall when a franchise dealer cannot? Bottom line, direct sellers must be held accountable to the same laws and regulations as franchise dealers. After seeing dynamics play out over the past few years, here's my takeaway. Auto dealers don't need to be like everyone else. The grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. We need to build on our own strengths. We need to continue to be innovative, adaptive, creative, to stay focused on the customer, politically active, and supportive of our communities like we always have. We can borrow the best ideas from our franchise competitors and combine them with our own innate strengths. We can double down on what we do best and compete. Auto dealers know how to compete. My dealership family, 1,700 team members strong, would not have thrived for over 100 years if this wasn't the case. Competition makes us better, it's good for our customers, and it's good for our country. To that end, we also need to raise a generation that understands fiscal responsibility. One of my important goals this year is to encourage dealers to promote financial literacy. Financial literacy is a life skill that's not taught in many schools anymore. The younger generation doesn't know how to get and keep good credit. It's no surprise that many crash to the wall of financial hardship. Inflation is at a 40-year high. Debt is skyrocketing. Financial literacy is more important than ever. I've worked in one of the largest public schools in the nation, Prince George's County in Maryland. The school system sent all 8th graders through a program called Junior Achievement. Junior Achievement taught teachers to give 14 hours of financial literacy instruction in the classroom. And students also attended one day at the Truist Finance campus. But there was nothing like that at the high school level. As a business advisor to the school superintendent, I promoted they adopted a similar program in the high schools. And starting this year, there's now a comprehensive financial literacy program in 10th, 11th, and 12th grades that students must pass in order to graduate. Why is this not possible in all schools across this nation? In 2017, NADA partnered with Junior Achievement USA to teach financial education throughout a volunteer program. The goal was to get new car dealers and their representatives in communities across the country to volunteer their time and expertise to students. If anyone is fit to promote financial literacy, it's those who run Main Street businesses. This mission, it's good for us. It's good for our communities, and it's good for the nation. And I look forward to working with many of you to see how we can start similar programs in schools across this nation. So before we leave Dallas, what's our game plan when we get back home? Get even more involved at the local, state, and national level. It's truly time to stand up and be counted. Support your local and state trade associations. They're more important than ever. They were created with the sole purpose of helping our industry deal with the issues that impact all of us each and every day. Lead from the front and make a difference. Support NADA. Support financial literacy programs in schools. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we're not alone in this journey. As for me, I will work diligently in my primary duty this year to preserve, protect, and promote our franchise system and to advocate on your behalf. Know that I'm truly committed, and I hope you will follow my example. This is a critical time in our world. We will have a long and interesting journey, one that we will be proud of. I look forward to what's ahead. Thank you. There's a couple of people I'd like to recognize, and first is my lovely wife, Ann. What a great partner. I'm so fortunate. My 3 children, Laura, Eric, and Kevin, thanks for being here. Lots of family and friends, and a lot from Team Pohanka, Scott Crabtree, Danny Martin, Joe Wilkins, Ray O'Brien, Lenny Gonzalez, Joe you got it, Mr. Goings. I'm up here, and this is not rehearsed right here, but thanks so much for everybody coming. Appreciate it. And now it's my honor to welcome the 2023 Executive Committee.
Now, your 2023 Executive Committee. Vice Chairman Gary Gilchrist. Secretary Bill Willis. Treasurer Kurt Fry. Immediate past Chairman Michael Alford. Chairman of the American Truck Dealers Scott McCandless. Vice Chairman Region 1 Robert Vail. Vice Chairwoman Region 2 Valerie Bowen. Vice Chairman, Region 3, Joshua Johnson. Vice Chairman, Region 4, Don Hicks. Chairman, Dealership Operations Committee, Sandy Angelo. Chairman, Industry Relations Committee, Rob Cochran. Chairman, Legislative Affairs Committee, Jeff Weber. Chairman, Public Affairs Committee, Scott Doobie. Chairman, Regulatory Affairs Committee, Jeff Iosa. Chairman, NADA Show Committee, Bobby Sight. And NADA President and CEO, Michael Stanton. Your 2023 NADA Executive Committee.